Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos had their doubts when it came to showing their NYC townhouse to the world. Ripa, 54, admitted on Live with Kelly and Mark on Wednesday, December 11th, that she and her husband, 53, weren't keen at first on showcasing their home in Architectural Digest, where it's currently featured in the January issue. "I've got to tell you, I was very against it because I felt like we've always said no," Ripa shared of the magazine's offers to publish their Upper East Side townhouse, where they have lived for 12 years. "I've always felt like it was a jinx of some kind. Like you're jinxing the good fortune of your house," she added. While there's no documentation of an AD jinx, it is a long-running trend that some Alisters tend to list their home for sale. Not long after a feature in the luxury publication, Ripa, however, says she's not going anywhere, calling her current residence her forever home. Despite her hesitations, the star revealed on Live that she ended up being very impressed with how their home was presented, as she showed some photos from their AD shoot. "First of all, when an architectural magazine such as this comes into your house, they make it so like, I could not believe this was the same house I lived in. It's so glamorous," Ripa continued. "And they removed all evidence that we lived there." Kelly Ripa was very against having home featured in AD for years, felt like it was a jinx of some kind. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos had their doubts when it came to showing their NYC townhouse to the world. Ripa, 54, admitted on Live with Kelly and Mark on Wednesday, December 11th, that she and her husband, 53, weren't keen at first on showcasing their home in Architectural Digest, where it's currently featured in the January issue. "I've got to tell you, I was very against it because I felt like we've always said no," Ripa shared of the magazine's offers to publish their Upper East Side townhouse, where they have lived for 12 years. "I've always felt like it was a jinx of some kind. Like you're jinxing the good fortune of your house," she added. While there's no documentation of an AD jinx, it is a long-running trend that some Alisters tend to list their home for sale. Not long after a feature in the luxury publication, Ripa, however, says she's not going anywhere, calling her current residence her forever home. Despite her hesitations, the star revealed on Live that she ended up being very impressed with how their home was presented, as she showed some photos from their AD shoot. "First of all, when an architectural magazine such as this comes into your house, they make it so like I could not believe this was the same house I lived in. It's so glamorous," Ripa continued. "And they removed all evidence that we lived there." Ripa also confessed that she and her husband don't typically dress as smartly as they appeared in their shoot, which saw the couple sporting sleek outfits of matching knits and tailored pieces. "We do not dress like this at home at all, nor do I wear makeup and have my hair done," she said. "And I'm always in sweats." Consuelos added, "I'm very particular about the house." He also admitted of their longtime home. In the end, however, the couple shared that the experience was a lot of fun. "Would you say it's the most glamorous version of the house ever?" Ripa asked, to which Consuelos responded, "Yes, they made it look good." In their video tour, posted on YouTube, Ripa and Consuelos showed off the interiors of the Upper East Side townhouse styled in 1970s New York and 1930s Parisian decor, along with a refined black and white kitchen, a sleek cigar lounge and their sprawling primary bedroom suite. "No matter where we go, for me, this is my forever home," Ripa said in the clip. "When I walked in here I was like, this is the final place where I will live. I love this house so much." Kelly Ripa was very against having home featured in AD for years, felt like it was a jinx of some kind for decades. Kelly Ripa has been a fixture in American households, charming, quick-witted, and endearingly candid, whether on morning television or in interviews. But there's one part of her life she's kept tightly under wraps: her home. Despite her fame and public-facing life, Ripa remained steadfastly private about her personal space, especially when it came to showcasing it in the glossy pages of Architectural Digest AD, the gold standard in home design publications. It wasn't about modesty, it wasn't about taste, and it certainly wasn't about disliking AD. In fact, Ripa had long been a fan of the magazine. "I used to collect back issues like they were Vogue September editions," she told us during a recent interview. "I still have stacks in the basement from the early 2000s. But to have my house in there? No, I always felt like it was a jinx of some kind." A superstition born in Hollywood whispers. To understand Ripa's reluctance, you have to look at the curious world of celebrity superstition. In Hollywood, where success can be fleeting and fame is often fragile, even the most rational minds cling to ritual. Some actors won't change their phone number during a good run, others wear the same socks to every audition. For Ripa, the superstition revolved around Architectural Digest. There's this half-joke that goes around in the entertainment world. She explained, as soon as you let AD photograph your house, your show gets cancelled or your marriage falls apart. I know it sounds crazy, but I've seen it happen to friends. One day you're on the cover of AD, showing off your Mediterranean modern dream home. And the next day you're packing up your belongings. Ripa's voice is tinged with laughter when she says it, but there's also a glimmer of sincerity. For someone who's carefully built a stable, long-lasting career and family life, superstition becomes less about belief and more about protection. Why tempt fate? A house that was never just a house. Ripa and her husband, actor Mark Consuelos, have shared a lot with the public parenting stories. Career highs and lows, even occasional glimpses of their dynamic marriage. But their New York townhouse, tucked discreetly away in the Upper East Side, remained off-limits for nearly 2 decades. It wasn't just a house, Ripa said. It was our sanctuary. It's where we raised our kids. Where we argued over algebra homework. Where we danced in the kitchen after getting good news. Where we cried on election nights. That house saw everything. The couple purchased the historic brownstone in the early 2000s and spent years slowly renovating it. We did it in phases, not all at once. We'd wait until we had enough saved up, or until we couldn't stand one more winter with the broken radiator, Ripa said, with a laugh. And we didn't use some celebrity decorator. We picked out the tile. We chose the light fixtures. That house is like a quilt. We stitched it together over time. The turning point. So, what changed? The shift began during the pandemic. Like many others, Ripa and Consuelos found themselves spending more time at home than ever before. Suddenly, every crack in the floor and every lovingly worn corner held more meaning. The house had been their fortress during uncertain times. It had kept them safe. It had kept them sane. I think the pandemic gave us a different perspective, Ripa reflected. We realized just how lucky we were to have a home that made us feel grounded. And I started to feel like maybe it was okay to share that. Not to show off, but to say, this is what home looks like for us. And we're proud of it. Encouraged by close friends and nudged gently by her publicist, Ripa finally agreed to the feature. I told myself, AD is not a jinx, it's a celebration. And if something happens afterward, well, that's life. The photo shoot, the Architectural Digest shoot, took place over 3 days in late spring. I cleaned like my mother was coming over, Ripa joked. We hid the dog toys, polished the brass, even swapped out the kids' sneakers for a stack of art books. Despite her initial nerves, Ripa said the experience was surprisingly joyful. The crew was amazing. It wasn't intrusive, it felt collaborative. And the photographer captured things I hadn't even noticed before. The way the morning light hits our kitchen table. I almost cried, seeing it on film. The feature, which appeared in the July 2025 issue, was met with overwhelming praise. Fans gushed over the couple's eclectic but warm aesthetic, vintage Moroccan rugs layered under sleek modern furniture, family photos on every shelf, a reading nook nestled under the stairs. The home felt lived in, not staged, comfortable but elegant. It felt real life after a day so far. No jinx has materialized. Ripa still hosts Live with Kelly and Mark alongside her husband, and their children are thriving in college and early adulthood. I've knocked on every wood surface in the house, she quipped. So far, we're good. But the decision to open her doors did more than just produce a stunning magazine, spread it shifted something in Ripa's own sense of vulnerability. Spent so long being afraid to let people see too much. I think when you grow up in the public eye, you learn to draw those lines really thick. But sometimes, letting the wall down a little, it lets in some really good light. Ripa says she's received hundreds of messages since the feature ransom asking about paint colors. Others simply thanking her for showing a home that wasn't perfect, but was clearly full of love. One woman wrote and said, "Seeing your cluttered bookshelves made me feel better about mine. And I thought, that's it. That's why we finally did it. To remind people that beauty doesn't have to be flawless. It can be lived in. It can have history." The magic of home. Ask Kel.